Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier. So already in our previous video started discussion on AWS Step Function to orchestrate different Lambda functions and building a complete pipeline overall, right? So today in this particular video I am going to discuss how we can orchestrate different SQL queries to be executed from Amazon Athena using Step Function, okay? So many times in our ETL pipeline design in the big data world, we use glue in a serverless domain, or maybe we use EMR to process huge volume of data with servers, right? But sometimes with only simple SQL queries also, we can complete our whole ETL part, okay? Maybe first time one query has to be executed, then next query has to be executed. Like that, some orchestration we might need to do, okay? So if you are doing that with Athena, then if you just orchestrate those particular SQL queries with AWS Step Function, then that would be great. With very less programming, we can basically execute all the queries and we can maybe notify the developer or admin team once the execution is successful. We can send the result set and all the stuff we can do, right? So let's see how we can implement the same in this particular video, okay? So before going to that, one particular important concept we need to understand, that is how to start a query in Athena, okay? And that is basically this particular command we use, start query execution, okay? This is used to start an execution. So this basically takes one kind of JSON data, and if you see this, you will understand this very simply. You no need to remember this very strictly. I will tell you how to work with this kind of step function and Athena integration without remembering most of the things. But couple of points just you need to remember. Like here you can see start query execution, it expects query string. What is query string? That is that particular query which we want to execute. Then there is work group. What is work group? It is nothing but a particular concept related to Athena, which is nothing but a resource that can be used to separate query execution and query history between different users, teams and application and all those. Okay. As of now, we might not need to explore work group in very detail. Let's focus on Athena and Step integration only. And by default, primary work group is there. So we are attaching this particular query with primary work group only. Okay. And then here result configuration, where our Athena result will be stored. That is also you need to mention, right? Because whenever we execute some Athena query, then with that logs also get generated and that is stored in S3 location. So where it will be stored, that part you have to specify in this particular start query execution. Okay. That's pretty much it. Now without any further delay, let's see today's integration, okay? So in step 1, what we are going to do, first we are going to create a table, okay? helloworld.hellocsv. Hello world is a database which is already present in our Athena. As you can see here, database is hello world. If I just do show tables, okay, here if I run this one, here you will be getting no data, because currently you can see here in this particular database no table is present, okay? So what we are doing, we are creating a table called hello.csv, which is having this kind of schema: id, sepal length, sepal width, petal length and petal width, okay? And then class name, which is a very popular id data set. On top of that only I am creating this particular schema. And then row format SERDE. Here serialization, deserialization format I am using lazy simple SERDE, which is a default one generally we use while working with CSV. And then here serialization properties and field delimiter also I am mentioning. And then where this particular Athena table will point to, that also I am mentioning, that is S3. Then this is the bucket. This bucket I have already created here. Inside this bucket there are two folders. One is CSV Halla and another one is Parquet Halla. Okay. So here in CSV Halla, what will store? CSV data will be stored. We will be pointing a particular table to this particular location, and then we will basically convert that CSV data to Parquet. This concept how to convert from CSV to Parquet using Athena I have already covered. That same concept we are implementing here, okay? And then table properties, here we are mentioning this kind of table properties, that is keep the header for the first row, because first row is header in our CSV data. So that's pretty much it. This is our step 1. In this step 2, what we are doing, we are creating a table with Parquet format, and what we are doing, we are pointing to that particular Parquet S3 location. As you can see here, all these codes I will be providing in the description box or in the comment section. No need to worry about the code, okay? And here what we are doing, we are selecting the data from the CSV table, we are ingesting in Parquet table. That way the data will be converted in Parquet format and it will be stored in the Parquet palla folder location. Okay, here already some data is there. I will just delete this one. Just give me 1 second, because I just did some experiment whether it is working or not before the lab, so that data was there. Anyway, so here we will see that the data will be coming once this particular second query executed successfully. Okay, then what we want to do, we want to execute one group by command. Very simple. So as you know, in our IDs dataset, there is ID Cetusa, ID Svarchinica, and ID Svarcicala. These three different types of classes are there. Okay. So what we are doing, we are grouping on the class name and we are doing sum or sepal length column. Okay. And we are returning that. So once the code is executed, we want to get the result set and we want to send the result set via SMS. Okay. And for SMS, we are going to use this particular mail ID. This is a dummy mail ID what I created. If you want, you can broadcast to multiple subscribers on your SNS topic. Okay. So first step, what I will do, I will just go to SNS and create an very simple SNS topic, and we will make a subscriber also. Okay. Demo Athena step integration. Okay, then I will go to next step. Let it be standard, and access policy as of now I am putting everyone can publish and everyone can subscribe, and here I will create the topic. Okay, create the subscription. Here email based subscription I want, this is the one, or maybe I can put email JSON, that is not a problem. And then here what I will do, here I will create the subscription. Okay, here subscription is created. If I go here you will see that it is showing pending confirmation. If I go back to my mail, here one mail came. I just need to click on this particular link, and that is done. If I just refresh this page, it will be showing that it is confirmed. See, it is confirmed. Okay, right? So from SNS side we are all set. Athena also database is there. Now what we will do, we will first upload our CSV data. Okay. Add files, and here all files, this is the one which containing the CSV data. So this one we want to convert to our Parquet using step function. We want to execute all this query step by step. Okay, so here I will just search for step. So I will go to step function, and then here I will create a state machine. Okay, so workflow visually we are going to create standard, and then we'll go to next. Okay, so first what we'll do, we have to execute this particular query, and for that what I told you that this is the start query execution is the one. Okay, so here if I just search for Athena, here you will see first one as start query execution. Okay, so here I will give the name as CSV table creator. Okay, once that is done, what will be the next step? In the next step also we are executing a query, which is basically, I will just drag and drop this one, that is start query execution. This is basically our Parquet. Okay, Parquet table creator. Okay, and then here what we are doing next step, we are basically executing this query, which is again nothing but a query execution. So here also we will be putting start query execution. Okay, very logical till now, and it is very simple also. So anyway, I will give the name as group by executor. Okay, once that is done, what we want to get the result set, we want to send via SMS. Okay, so we will do that. So here if you see get query result, this is the one, just drag and drop. So get query result. So I will just write query result feature, and once that is done, what we will do, we will basically send to SNS topic. Okay, so up to this query result feature, this is the overall pipeline, right? But we will add query result feature later. First let's see how the start query execution part is working, then we will go to query result feature. Okay, so I will just delete that one. So as of now, this is the architecture, and now I will go to the first one, CSV table creator. So I want to wait until the complete query is executed, and once it is successful, then only it should go to the next stage. Okay, so I will just check this, wait for task to be completed. Here you can see query string and what group it is asking. So query string, I'll be just copying this particular query, and here I'll be selecting this one and I'll be pasting that. Okay, so here our query string is created. Perfect, right? Then work group is primary. I have told you, let's skip that only. And not only that, here we have to put the result configuration also. So I'll be just taking this particular part and I will paste there. Okay, so here I will just take the result configuration part and paste that. Okay, so it is successful, not showing any error. So now what we can do, I can basically copy the same, and then here I can go to Parquet table. Okay, here I will delete this stuff, and here what I will do, I will just take this particular query, and then here I will go and delete this particular earlier query string and I will paste the new one. Okay, it is all stuff as it is, not a problem. Then here group by executor. Okay, next step we are executing, so I will just take this one, and then here what I will do, I will just paste this one. Okay, so that is done, and apart from that, this particular result configuration also we have to do, so that one we will do in the group by executor. Okay, so here with this, our 3 queries which has to be executed one by one, that is done. Make sure for all you are enabling this, that is once one particular state is executed, then only it should go to next step. It is not like it is calling asynchronously, it is basically calling synchronously. Okay, so here I will just check on all this, right? And with this, our main start query execution is completed. Once we will try this one, and then we will go and add get query result. We will see how the output is showing, and based on that we will go to next step. Okay, so I will go to next, and then here I will go to next step demo, some name I'm giving, and here I will create the state machine. Okay, so here our state machine is ready. Currently it is not ever executed. Okay, so I will just start the execution. So here see, currently it is in CSV table creator. Okay, so eventually it will complete all the steps. So let's wait for a couple of seconds. So here you can see CSV table created is completed. Now Parquet table is getting created. Okay, so if I go to Athena console and if I refresh this one, here you will see hello CSV and hello Parquet. If I just click on that, it is having this kind of screen. Okay, so here let the Parquet table creation complete. So you can see this is the input from the first step to the second step. Okay, and now it went to group by executor. That is basically our Parquet table got created. So if I go to our S3 location, in the Parquet location, here we will see that just now 9:39 AM, currently it is 9:40 AM. Just now one particular Parquet file is created. Okay, if I just click on that, here you will see that you will be able to download this one. Okay, right? So with this, we are clear how to convert CSV to Parquet, but we need to read the result set, whatever this group by query is executing, and then send. We have to send via SMS. I will come to that. I want to show you one thing without remembering much concepts, how we can play with this one. That's what I am trying to show you. So let's just this particular query get complete, and then I will discuss further. Okay, you see here group by also executed completed. Now let's see how the output looks. Okay, and based on that we will add more steps in it. Okay, so if I go to output, here step output, if I go here, this is the JSON. Okay, now whenever any query is executed, once the query execution is complete, if you want to read the result set of that particular query, then you can use the unique query ID tagged with each query. Okay, so if you see this particular JSON, here query execution is the parent, so I will just copy this particular stuff, query execution, and then dot. Here you will see that there is a query execution ID there, right? And this is just after query execution. So I will copy this one and I will paste that. And I have told you, right, that in AWS Step Function, whenever you are referring a JSON input output, that is basically coming in dollar variable. So $.query execution ID, if we do, we will get the query execution ID for the group by executor, and that one we can basically use to fetch the result set in the next step. Okay, so that's what I am trying to do now. I will just edit this state machine. Workflow Studio I will go, and then here I will just search for Athena, and then here get query results I will be putting that here. Okay, here if you go here, these are the inputs what it is expecting. First one is maximum results. How many results you want to send maximum? How many rows? So in our case, as we know that there are only 3 distinct class name. So when we are doing group by on class name, then only 3 rows possible. So here I am keeping this 10 as it is. Next token is not required as of now. I am deleting that. Now here query execution ID. So here we need to pass the ID for which this particular get query result will fetch the result. Okay. So from here it will fetch from the select query on the group by clause whatever we have applied in the earlier stage, right? So that particular ID from the output JSON we have to paste here, okay? And that is nothing but this particular stuff just now what I shown you, right? But make sure, just remember a very important point when you are working with AWS Step. Here it is clearly written also, must be a valid JSON. To reference a node in the state's JSON input, the key must end with $, okay? Like key to $, okay? Or dollar, key to $, colon, dollar input value. So what it is saying, whenever you are referring the earlier state's JSON path or something, then the key also should be ending with $. So I will just put a $, okay? So here query execution ID $, that should be taking this particular value. Okay, so remember this thing very important. Whenever you are using in parameter referring earlier execution result or JSON path, then don't forget to use $, in our actual. Okay, so now let's see how this particular set is giving output, and based on that we will be adding SNS on top of it and we will work with it. Okay, so let's just do some cleanup. So here I will just do drop table hello world.hellocsv. So I am just going step by step. So that's why I am just dropping this so that I can execute and show you from beginning. And then here I will execute drop table hello part. Okay. So it is successful. And not only that, what I will do here in our S3 location also, I will be deleting this particular Parquet file. Okay. So now what we will do, we will go back to our step function. We just added one extra stage, and I have told you logically how I am reaching this one, because based on the earlier result we have seen that this is how the query execution ID is stored. So that one only we are using here. Okay. We will apply and exit and we will save this. Okay. So once that is saved, we will just start our execution again. Okay. So here you can see the CSV table is created. Now Parquet table creation is going on. Let it complete. So here you can see it basically thrown error. Let's see what happened. So here user this one is not authorized to perform get query result from the resources and get query result. Okay, right. So what we will do, we will just go here and in the IAM role we will give Athena full access. Okay, so this happens, and that's how I am showing step by step, so that how we can debug that also it will be clear to you. So here I will give Athena full access, and also later we'll be using SNS, so let me use SNS full access also, and let me use S3 also, S3 full access. Okay, right, and then here we'll attach the policies. So now we'll execute our step function again. So let me just drop these particular tables whatever got created, because if I execute it again then it might throw error, and this particular location also I will delete. So here it is deleted and both tables also deleted. Now let's start the execution again. Okay. So here you see this query is also executed successfully. Okay. Now the next step should be sending the result set whatever it got via SNS. Okay. If I just click on this, here see it is successful. Let's see the output, and based on that we will go to next step. Okay. So here you can see this is the result set. So first parent level will be obviously result set. So I will just write here. So the resource path you can easily get like this way, step by step if you go. So result set, inside the result set here you can see rows is there, and in rows it is basically having first column names and the values whatever it got for first ID Setusha, then ID is Farchinika, and then ID is Farsicolor. Okay, that is this particular key and the value we have to send. Okay, so result set dot rows, this should be our path. Very simple. Now what we will do, we will just edit this stuff. Okay, edit state machine, and workflow studio will be going, and then here I will be searching for SNS, and here SNS publish. Okay, so here we have already created an SNS topic, right? So here this topic I will be selecting, and then here if you see API parameter edit as JSON, so I will just enable that, and here you can see in message what you want to put, that you can pass. So I want to pass this one, result set dot rows whatever we are getting. Okay, and I want to make sure that this also I am keeping wait for task to complete. It should not be asynchronous, it should be synchronous flow. So that's pretty much it. Wait for task to complete. Once that is done, it will just take the result set rows and it will send a message to the topic. From the topic it will be broadcasted to mails and all. Okay, we'll apply that and we'll save that. Okay, and then here some error is coming. This is Amazon step number error is missing. So where is the error? Let me save it again. I will just go to workflow studio and check whether any error I have written or not. Edit JSON, this is the one, and yeah, this looks good only. I'm not sure why that error. Let me just try to save it again. The resource provided ARN query result seek is not recognized. The value is not a valid resource ARN. The resource is not available in the region. Okay, so basically for this one get query result, you no need to wait for task to complete, because it will just get the result set and then only it will go to next step. So you no need to put a wait here. Okay, so I'll just save this one now, and that is saved. Okay, now this is the time to test our complete pipeline. So I will just delete this to tables, and also I will just delete the Parquet file whatever it converted. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, I'll go to mail. I will show you. If I refresh this one, currently no mail is there. So let's test it out. So here I will go to start execution, and here I will click on start. Okay, so here first it will be pointing to the CSV file. It will be creating a Parquet file by loading the data from the CSV, and that way CSV to Parquet conversion will happen. Then it will apply group by clause on the Parquet data. As you can see here, hello Parquet, on the Parquet data we are applying group by, because that is kind of faster because of predicate push down, because Parquet data stored in columnar format, so that is kind of easier stuff to do group by, and all operation it is bit faster and optimized. And once that is done, we will fetch the query result, we will send via SMS. Okay, so this makes our complete orchestrated pipeline. Okay, so we have learned how to start an execution, we have learned how to get the query result set, we have learned how to send the notification, send the result set via SMS to the developers or the admin teams. Okay, these are the major important components which we generally use in our day-to-day work activity with Athena and step function. There are obviously other building blocks also available, as you have seen, but all the building blocks you can work easily if you just follow the steps what I discussed. Okay, if you don't know how to put an input, how to get the resource path, then you just write the code up to the previous level and then you execute that. You see how the output is coming. Based on that output, you configure the resource path for your next step. Okay, like that you can do. Okay, so here you can see our CSV table is created. Now Parquet table creation is going on. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. So you see here currently group by executed is getting executed. So see here group by executed, get result executed, it will to SMS publish. Okay, so if I refresh this one, here see one message here. If I click on that, here we are getting the JSON data, and here if you see, this is the one message, and the data is basically class name and then group wise sum. These are the two columns. For here you can see ID Setosa, this is the value. Okay, then for ID is Virginica, this is the value, and for ID is Versicolor, this is the value. Okay, if we execute the same in our Athena, actually we will be getting the same result. Let me just show you. So see, here Setosa is 250.299. So I'll just show you there in mail. See, ID Setosa 250.299. Okay. Then next one is ID Virginica is 329.399. Okay. So here you can see ID Virginica is 329.399. Okay. And the last one, ID Versicolor is 302.5. Here if you see ID Versicolor, here it is 302.5. Okay, so perfectly the result is coming. We are all set, right? So this is how we can create a complete orchestrated flow, right? And then if you want, you can basically send this particular complete JSON to any other AWS account, and there this can be reused to build the state machine. Okay, so if I just go to edit, here you will get the complete JSON is generated. Okay, you can just send to other AWS account and use this as infrastructure as a code to create your own pipeline. Okay, I hope you understood this. This is all for this video. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share and comment. Subscribe our channel if you have not subscribed till now, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification of our latest videos. Thank you for watching.